another note, unfortunately, I want to ask you about a program from December of 2012 where the U.S. Air Force canceled an information technology program called the Expeditionary Combat Support System, the ECSS, that it had been working on since 2005. The Air Force scrapped the program after putting in $1 billion into the project with no identifiable benefit to the military or taxpayers. There were also reports that the project would have required an additional $1.1 billion to fix, and the system wouldn't have been completed till 2020, so that was obviously canceled by the Air Force. Based on your experience and your preparation for this hearing, particularly the position you're going into, who's being held accountable in the Air Force for wasting $1 billion of tax dollars into a failed Air Force acquisition program?
Senator, your characterization of ECSS and the history is correct. From the accountability perspective, the direct answer to your question is in 2011 and 2012, it's my understanding that the program manager for that program was removed and the program executive officer for that program was removed. Having said that, do I believe that we have firm accountability in the acquisition system and I'm comfortable with where it is? I am not, and I think it is something, should I be confirmed, that I'll put extra emphasis on. But again, your characterization of ECSS is correct.
So why did it happen, and how do we prevent it from happening again?
So the best answer to why it happened, from my perspective, coming in to the principal deputy position and preparing for this hearing today, was achieved by careful review of what's called the Acquisition Incident Report. The report should be available. It has been available for the committee. It was commissioned in the way a mishap, an airplane crash, for example, report would be done, where an independent team came in, did fishbone analysis, as they call it, failure analysis, interviews, and got to root cause. It's very, very sobering reading. It identified about 6 fundamental root causes, which, in my assessment, were probably baked in, unfortunately, at the very beginning. I'll go through a few examples. There was a lack of appreciation of the complexity of the data that was going to go into this business system. And you're going to an enterprise business systems, of course, the commodity everybody uses is the data itself. Not understanding that data, not understanding how to get the quality of the data was a foundational error in the program. And then 2 other quick things, but there are more. Not having a good transition plan. In other words, going from these legacy systems, the as-is, to the to-be vision. In some ways, the to-be vision is often the thing that's the easiest to come up with. That's where we all dream of having a nice, seamless enterprise business system. The hard part, and the part that was not done well, was understanding the way to get from where they were with these legacy systems and this data to that to-be. And just like when there's construction on the major highway, you have to assume there's still going to be traffic, and how's the traffic going to use the system? The user still had to use this as it was doing the transition. Those are foundational errors that were baked into the program.
Here's why your position that you're going into in particular is so important, and why this, $1 billion loss disturbs me, as I know it disturbs all of us. The Air Force is proposing that all active duty A-10s be divested by 2016, plus the Air National Guard unit in Boise, Idaho, and that all Guard and Reserve units be divested by 2017 in order to save money in 2019. $1 billion. That's about $3.7 billion over the FIDEP. And I think of that, and I think $1 billion we lost on that when we have the A-10s that are incredibly important for close air support, incredibly important for search and rescue, incredibly important to our men and women in uniform. In fact, General Odierno has said is the best close air support platform we have today. And despite this effort to divest it, General Welsh has said it is the best airplane in the world at what it does. So these are the things that you're going to be facing, that if we waste $1 billion, then we have to, you come to us and say, divest a plane that our men and women, especially those on the ground, care about, they know that it has saved lives. So in your position, this is very important that this not happen again. And we look for areas in the Air Force where you see this problem bubbling up so that we can not waste taxpayer dollars, and we can make sure that the dollars go to things that we know our men and women in uniform need.
Thank